One day the energy was warm, the next cold. Short replies, passive comments, distance, tension so thick you could feel it, but no honest conversation ever happened. And the hardest part about that, sometimes resentment doesn't come from one big betrayal. It doesn't. It comes from little things, unspoken expectations, feeling overlooked, feeling taken for granted, giving too much, which we often do, never speaking up, smiling while silently keeping score. That's the other party. Because resentment rarely starts as anger. It starts as hurt that was never healed. And we talked a little bit about this yesterday. And if you've ever felt confused by a friendship that suddenly changed, or realized that someone had been quietly bitter towards you for far longer than you even knew, if you knew at all, then this conversation is definitely for you. Because in today's video, we're talking about R. R is for resentment, the silent poison that destroys friendships from the inside out. So, grab a snack and come on back and let's get into the letter R. Hello, my beautiful friends. It's Lexi. And if this is your first time here, welcome. This channel is all about healing, truth, growth, loving ourselves deeper, and recognizing the patterns that no longer deserve access to our peace. And today, in our ABCs of Toxic Friendships and Relationships series, we are talking about one of the most dangerous energies of all, resentment. Because resentment doesn't usually announce itself. It doesn't. It whispers. It simmers. It waits. So let's talk about it. What resentment really is? Resentment is unresolved hurt turned inward and eventually outward towards you. It's what happens when someone feels unseen, unheard, unappreciated, used, overlooked, emotionally overextended. But instead of addressing it honestly, they store it inside. They keep it in. And emotional storage, right? Emotional storage has interest. So eventually, that debt is getting collected. Sometimes, though, through all of that, right? Through that debt, it comes out as sarcasm, guilt trips, withdrawal, passive aggression, emotional punishment. Those are some of the ways that resentment rears its ugly head. You know, that's it. That's resentment. And you know, we all have those friends who keep score. So, this is the after all I've done for you, friend. The invisible ledger keeper. They remember who called first, who paid. That's a funny one. Who supported who? Who showed up more? Who gave advice? Who helped during hard times? friendship becomes accounting. But healthy friendship is connection, not bookkeeping. Definitely not bookkeeping. Because true care isn't transactional. It isn't, not between friends, not between real friends. Resentment can come from people pleasing as well. And the uncomfortable truth about that is sometimes resentment grows because people say yes when they really mean no. And that matters. That matters because if someone keeps over giving without boundaries, eventually they may resent the very person they volunteered to help. You know, you volunteered, but then you just keep going and going instead of setting that boundary. Like, listen, I can help you with this, but I can only do this much, or I can only go so far, or I can only stay this long. You just keep doing it, and then you blame the other person, and you resent them, but you put yourself in that position. They didn't. They just was using you because you allowed it. You know, it doesn't make their feelings fake, but it does make the dynamic very unhealthy. It's very unhealthy. Adults have to communicate. And mind reading is not friendship. It's absolutely not. And that's one of my biggest faults. I do communicate. I say it like it is. I say what I mean and I mean what I say. And if it gets taken the wrong way, then you were never my friend to begin with, because you should know that I have your best interest at heart and I'm caring about you is why I'm telling you what I'm telling you. But most people can't handle that. They can't handle the truth. Passive aggression, that equals resentment, all dressed up in a little costume. You know, it always wears a disguise. Resentment usually wears a disguise. For example, oh wow, must be nice. Don't worry about it. I'm fine. No, really, it's okay. When it clearly is not okay, right? Passive aggression, which we talked about with the letter P, is often anger that feels unsafe being spoken directly. So it's like you're walking on eggshells. And like I said, this series is the best because every letter that we talk about resonates with the next letter that we talk about. It's all together. All of this comes together, wrapped up in a nice little bow for you. But indirect hostility, it still damages trust. You know, it still damages trust. It truly does. Jealousy and resentment, that's a big one. Sometimes resentment has envy underneath it, and we talked about that too. If you haven't watched this series yet, if you're new here, or if you have been here and been supporting this channel and just haven't caught up yet, go back and watch all of these episodes, the ABCs of toxic friendships and relationships. It's a whole playlist from A to right now to R. Go back and watch. You'll enjoy it. It's a very good series. And I'm sure that something there will definitely resonate with each and every one of you. Now let's get back. Maybe you're growing, right? You're healing, setting boundaries, succeeding, being loved differently, changing. And someone who once felt comfortable in the old dynamic may resent the new you. They may resent the new you. And that hurts. It hurts. Because not everyone celebrates your evolution. They don't. As soon as you start growing, I'm using YouTube as an example here because that's where we are. But as soon as you start growing, you will notice the people who fall off, the supporters who no longer support you, who listen to BS. You know, all of that starts happening when you start growing because of one person who was holding animosity towards you and hate towards you the whole time. That happens. And people are dumb, right? They're dumb because they don't ask questions. They don't come to you and say, oh my goodness, what really happened? Or did you do this or did you that? Ask me. We're grown-ups, right? We're grown-ups. Or ask whomever. I'm using myself as an example here, right? Ask. Don't just listen and believe everything you hear. So, some people, they mourn losing access to the version of you that overgave and over-supported and listened to their whining and their BS and didn't say anything and whatever and just was like, oh my God, I'm so over this. They miss that. They miss that because they know they can't keep pulling the wool over your eyes. So they miss that. They miss that. What to ask yourself, right? If you feel resentment, what do you ask yourself? You want to ask yourself, what hurt me? Did I communicate clearly? Did I expect mind reading? Because we can't expect somebody to know what we're going through or what we mean if we don't say it. If we don't say it. Have I abandoned my own boundaries? A lot of times we do, because we want to be that friend and everything. And so we abandon our boundaries knowing that those other people, they're not worth it. They're not worth it, beloved. Am I giving from love or obligation? Because if you feel like it's an obligation, you need to get out of there. If you're not doing it out of love, then why are you doing it? And what am I afraid to say? What are you afraid to say? Put your big girl panties on or put your big boy undies on and say it, right? Say it. Say what you mean and mean what you say. That's the only way you're going to find out. If someone resents you, if they're cold, punishing, sarcastic, or emotionally distant, ask yourself a question. Have they tried to communicate? And if yes, then that's a different conversation, right? That's a different conversation. But if they haven't tried to communicate, you're not responsible for managing emotions that were never honestly expressed. You're not a mind reader. You're not. You don't have a magic ball in front of you that can tell you, oh, so-and-so must be feeling this, that, and the other. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Compassion? Yes. Mind reading? No. No. Resentment, it's a very heavy thing. It's very heavy. It's very heavy. Because it takes what could have been a conversation and turns it into quiet emotional warfare. It does. Something that could have simply been a conversation turns into emotional warfare. Healthy friendships require honesty. They do. They require honesty. A lot of times, though, we give our honesty and the other person refuses to be accountable, so then we're the bad guy. And that's just the price you pay, right? It's the price you pay. Healthy friendships require boundaries, most definitely. If you don't have any, set them now. Communication. If there's somebody out there, and they're annoying you or something's going on and this is your friend and blah, 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 then have a come to Jesus. Have a sit-down conversation. Ask the questions. Get to the bottom of what is going on. Or there'll have to be a season finale on that friendship, because everything is not made to last forever. It's just not. And like I said yesterday, everything is not for everyone, and everybody is not for everyone. You need to have mutual respect. Mutual respect, that's what you need. That's what you need. Not silent scorekeeping. Definitely not that. So, if this resonated with you, tell me below. Have you ever dealt with resentment in friendship, either from someone else or within yourself? Have you ever dealt with it? Let's open up the conversation down below. Put that in the comments. Let's talk about it. And if this message helped you, please, please like, subscribe, and share this with someone who needs to hear it. I would appreciate that. And as always, my beloved, I love you plenty. I love you plenty. I see you. I truly do. This series, I definitely see you. Definitely. And I'm so proud of you. And I'm proud of us as a community and a collective, because we are doing the damn thing. Let's keep this going. Let's keep this positive conversation going. Okay? So on that note, stay tuned for the letter S. Put it down in the comments. What do you think the letter S is going to be? Or what are your suggestions? I already have the letter S, but what would your suggestions be? And we will talk on the next one. Deuces.